Star Wars turns 40 years old today, and I completely wasn't paying attention. How is it that one of my favorite film series of all time is just briskly turning 40 and I'm not paying attention? I mean, of course I have to make a video. So really quickly, I'm just gonna point out some of my favorite moments throughout the entire Star Wars franchise. Star Wars is something that's been with me ever since I was a kid. I loved all the films. I watched it in a really weird order though. I started by watching Phantom Menace, and then I watched the original three, and then I saw Revenge of the Sith in theaters, and then it took me about a year before I saw Attack of the Clones. And good, because that one sucks. But anyways, I'm just gonna right now lay it on you, my top 10 favorite moments throughout all the Star Wars movies. We're not including the TV shows, we're not including the holiday special. This is just simply the 8 films now, right? I guess there's also the Clone Wars, but I don't really count that one because that's kind of part of the TV series. So yeah, the 8 films, there's the original trilogy, the prequel trilogy, there's the sequel, Force Awakens, and then there's Rogue One. So here we go, I'm just going to quickly list them off. My 10th favorite moment in the series is Duel of the Fates from Phantom Menace. Duel of the Fates is really awesome. It was the first time we saw an actual really big lightsaber battle with flips and kicks, and I mean, in my honest opinion, that's not my favorite version of a lightsaber battle. I don't know, there's something about the lightsaber battles in the originals that I like better. I know it's because they didn't have the effects or the stunt work to make them as advanced as they were in the prequels. It is still cool to see all that choreography in the prequel trilogy. Duel of the Fates is by far the best of all of them. It's got beautiful scenery, it's got that music, it's just cool to watch. It's a really cool scene for a movie that's overall pretty boring, so that's at the bottom of the list though. My 9th favorite moment of the series is actually from Rogue One. It's the final moments. It's right about when they send up the plans to, to the ship, and they get it past the force field, and then the music, Michael Giacchino's score, starts playing through, and it's just a really beautiful score. And then we see Darth Vader go and kill all those guys, which is one of the greatest Darth Vader moments ever. I mean, I don't know how they topped everything he did in the original trilogy though. He's just killing and slicing through people, and then we see a young Princess Leia, and then it's just right after Carrie Fisher died, and it's just, oh, it's just so sad. And it's a beautiful scene, and then it leads right into A New Hope, and it makes you want to watch A New Hope again. Overall, Rogue One was I didn't really like that much. It was just way too slow and not enough stuff to care about, but that third act is still amazing, and those final moments are just beautiful. It's just a really beautiful sequence, and it leads perfectly into the 4th film, the original film. My 8th favorite moment actually comes from The Force Awakens. I'm still, I think, in the minority of people who think Force Awakens was a way better movie than Rogue One, but that's a discussion for another day. My favorite moment in the entire film, though, I think is when Rey grabs the lightsaber. Music comes in that was used in the original film, the da-da-da-da-da, that music. Kylo Ren's just staring at her because he's like, why is it, that's my lightsaber, and he's just angry about it. He was actually trying to grab it, and it goes flying past him, and Rey grabs it, and it's a really well set up scene. It's really well set up shot, and it's just, you really feel the spirit of the original films in that scene. I think they beautifully captured it. It was one of it was the best scene in that entire movie, and it was just because of the atmosphere. It was the Star Wars atmosphere. It was beautiful. I would say my 7th favorite moment in the Star Wars franchise comes from Revenge of the Sith, and this was actually just a scene where Obi-Wan and Anakin are confronting each other. Obi-Wan and Anakin see each other for the first time since Anakin has turned to the dark side, and there's just a lot of, I'm sure people think the dialogue's cheesy, but I just think it's a well set up shot. They're like walking around each other like an old Western gun show. They're ripping off their robes, and they're just preparing for what is gonna be the biggest lightsaber battle in history. This is the one that everyone's been waiting for since the original film. Hate the dialogue as you will, but I just thought it was a really emotional scene. I thought it was really set up well. My 6th favorite scene comes from Return of the Jedi. This is the scene where Luke is hiding and Darth Vader is underneath that platform, and all you really see is that red lightsaber. It's beautiful cinematography, and he's just taunting Luke. Darth Vader is like, if you won't turn the dark side, then perhaps she will. And he's talking about Leia, and that just pushes Luke over the edge. He's like, you don't mess with my family, you don't mess with my friends, and he goes and he takes on Darth Vader, and it's just, there's this beautiful panning shot that we see from behind the stairs of Darth Vader and Luke, you know, getting into this, just this fight, and it's just, Luke's just hammering onto him. It's just a response that a lot of people can relate to. I thought it's one of the best done scenes ever, and I just think that it just looks so good, and the music's so good, and I'm like, it's just emotional, it's heavy, it impacts you on a level that I can't explain. It's just beautiful. It's amazing. My fifth favorite moment in the series probably comes from Empire Strikes Back. It's that scene where they're just flying through the asteroid field. This is simply for, I guess, entertainment purposes. Just the effects that are done in that scene, it's unbelievable that every one of those asteroids had to be done with a blue screen effect, with the Millennium Falcon flying through, the TIE fighters flying through, and it's just, the music there is so good. It is seriously John Williams at his best. It's some of the best score ever, and it's just so exciting, it's exhilarating. I mean, we all know they're gonna survive, but you really feel on the edge of your seat when that's happening. It's just one of the craziest scenes ever done, and with some of the best special effects that's ever been accomplished on screen. My fourth favorite scene also comes from The Empire Strikes Back, and that's just the ending. I think the ending scene is really well done. After so many dark moments, it's, you know, it's the darkest of the franchise, and we go through so many emotional turns, and we finally get a chance to just rest, and then they just stand by the window, Leia and Luke do, with C-3PO and R2-D2, and they look out that window out into space, and there's just a glimmer of hope. I mean, even in the darkest of times, it's one of the most beautiful ending shots in any movie ever. I think it might be my favorite ending shot in general, because it's just so beautiful with the ships flying through space, and it's just, it's unbelievable that none of that was done with computers back then. It's just, it's breathtaking. My third favorite scene comes from Return of the Jedi, and it's when Vader saves Luke. Vader is really brought down to a human level all throughout Return of the Jedi, and then he finally sees his last string of, I guess, life, basically, before his eyes. The last thing like that, it's his own family. I just love Vader in that scene so much. I mean, the Blu-ray kind of ruins it because they added like a no, and I'm like, why are you adding no's? Vader's expression, and I can't believe, I don't know how they did this, but they managed to get Vader, who always had a really sinister look, and there's something about the way they shoot him in that scene, like when the camera pans up to his head, you just see sadness in him. And I'm like, I don't know how a scene manages to do it. It's the music, it's the lighting, but it just, I can't believe they managed to do that. They made a character who has a permanent face go from sinister to an empathizer. My second favorite scene, once again, Empire Strikes Back. This is the scene where Yoda uses the Force. When Luke's trying to do it himself and he's just not believing. He doesn't have the faith in him. There's a great metaphor there, though, about, you know, just triumphing over your goals, you know, having a goal and achieving them. And, you know, some people are put in an even more difficult place than you are, but you have to find a way to achieve these goals no matter what, and that's what Luke sees. Then Yoda lifts his ship out of the water, he brings it down, and, you know, it's just, the music there is so amazing. Star Wars is sci-fi, it's gunfights, it's adventure, it's got some comedy in it. It's just a really amazing film. But then you have these moments of just pure spirituality, like just seeing a character use his faith for, I don't know, it's just, I can't explain it. It's just so good. It's unbelievable. And my top favorite scene in the entire series, every time, my favorite moment, is when Luke has his final run on the Death Star. Obi-Wan Kenobi's in the background as a ghost saying, "Use the Force, Luke," and Luke finally decides to turn off his computer, you know, a man-made machine, and he turns it off to instead rely on his faith. I think there's just something really beautiful about that. So Jedi and Force and this idea of religion's always there, but it doesn't seem like anyone actually has the faith in them. And then Luke ends up having the faith in the end to be like, I'm gonna believe in this Force thing, and I'm gonna use it, and I'm gonna use it to end up saving the day. And it works. I think there's just a beautiful, it's just a great metaphor. It's a moment that gets me every time. I'm just really excited to always see what's gonna happen. I know the ending every single time. He blows up the Death Star, but every time I watch that scene, I still get excited. It's one of the only scenes that can get me going the exact same way. I love it every time, and it's honestly exactly what I think of when I think of Star Wars. It has every element that I love about Star Wars. There you go. 10 of my favorite moments throughout the series. Tell me what you think your favorite moments are. Happy 40th anniversary to Star Wars. I love all their films. I'm really excited to see where the franchise goes next, and I just hope it lasts another 40 years. So thanks for watching.